all the way from India, my dear AEM champion colleagues, Divanshu and Arko, will present you how to building dual-paced content workflows with AEM and Edge delivery services. Please welcome on stage.
All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm Divanshu from TechX, which is a partner company with TechShifts. And with me today is Arko from OneTrust.
Guten Morgen.
Our session is called AEM for Stability, Edge Delivery for Speed. And it's about solving problem most of us in this room have lived through. The struggle of balancing stability, governance, compliance with agility, speed, and market pressure. So we are going to show you a way to stop choosing between the two and instead build a system that gives you both without splitting your brand and without giving your developers nightmares. So I think this is a classic example that we all must have lived with. There's just a simple new field and variation in the carousel. Can we get it to the production tomorrow? It's a classic example that we get from the marketers most of the time because they may be going for a new campaign and they end up getting us into the chaos, and we lived our lives for the Friday night just to make it happen. So in all of these things, there's a problem that actually lies, which is a balance between the development team, the marketers, as well as the IT teams. We always keep on, crossing each other on one or the other lines. So there was one of such crises which just changed our idea of thinking about the CMS. We keep on thinking the CMS in various different ways from the technical aspects of it, like how to make the page performant or how to make better reusable components. But at the end, it's also about having a better go-to-markets. Because when it comes to the campaigns, it's about the right time when we launch it and at the right speed, we get into the market so that our competitors we can survive the competition altogether, right? So in the similar way, we had one such crisis that just made us think, which was one of the Black Friday campaign, which needs to go live, and there was new extra fields that needs to get added on the dialogue, and our authors get to know that at very last time. And then campaign can't be delayed at the same time. And if I just think about Adobe lifecycle, the pipelining thing, so I first need to start with the development, build everything over there, move to the QA, get the testing done, wait for all the deployments to happen, and which is really harmful. So we just stepped back and start thinking around it that what are the actual mistakes we are trying to make or where we are wrong? Is it like marketers having the wrong expectations or we as a whole? So yeah, this came to a conclusion for us as well, and we try to just demonstrate the same way, ideas around it, that why enterprise content moves at geological speeds. So this isn't just us. This is enterprise CMS everywhere. Think about it, your campaigns, your evergreen product pages, your compliant-driven legal text, all forced into the same pipeline. The result? Campaign emergencies crawl through layers of approvals. Marketing gets frustrated and spins up shadow sites. You must have seen many of the shadow sites getting created for the last-minute deliveries. And developers get dragged into midnight hot fixes. Instead of one system empowering everyone, you get systems that frustrate everyone. And the irony is the CMS was meant to bring order. Instead, it brings chaos. So it's like one architecture for all content types, optimization for none. So the realization was that stable content generally demands governance, which can go on a lane where we need more stability, which is on AEM. Dynamic content requires velocity, so that whenever there are new campaign ideas that comes into the mind, which needs to go live, there is some kind of a velocity into that, and marketers are open to do their own experimentations and get live as quick as possible. So what if we stop forcing everything through the same pipeline? By forcing everything through one pipeline, we are failing at the breakthrough. So governance was weak, speed was non-existing. The breakthrough came when we stopped thinking of CMS as a giant machine and started thinking in lanes, 2 lanes, one for stability and one for speed. So that's where the Fusion solution came to our minds, and we delivered with one of our clients recently this kind of a Fusion solution.
So if we talk about the Fusion solution, this is where the Fusion begins. Like, we didn't throw AEM away. Like, many people ask this question, like, now we have edge delivery, do we even need AEM? But it's not like that. Like, we need both of them. So we didn't throw it away. We paired it with edge delivery. I think if you can think of it, it's like, consider AEM as a heavyweight boxer. Like, it's structured, it's disciplined, it's built for long fights. You can say governance, compliances, deep integrations, localization, and heavy backend flows. But on the other end, you can consider edge delivery as a sprinter, as Barry Allen maybe. Like, it's lightweight, it's agile, it's built for sudden bursts. Campaigns are live in minutes, which used to take a lot of time of all the development life cycle. So, and also like author-friendly workflow, it also have author-friendly workflows, edge narrative performance. So so it's not like both of them like move apart. They always move together. Heavyweight and the sprinter are never enemies. So they are teammates. Like together, they give us best of both of the worlds. So now we can look at the basic architecture of what we have built. So, so we had put a CDN at front where the decision making is taking place. It's like a traffic cop which divides the traffic to the particular page according to the path. So let's assume it's a page of like evergreen content or any structured page or like any page having local content or like local content. So it drives it straight to the AEM. And if we talk about the content, which is, I would say, which is a kind of agile content like campaign or any kind of new design or anything that is needed to be get live first, then it will be driving to the edge delivery. And in the middle, we have a shared DAM, which is same for like both of them. And like so, for the end user, it's a seamless website. The end user won't really notice that where it is going. So it's very seamless for them to move to the both website, but in the back, like because it's the same domain, right? It's the same domain in which everything is attached. But in the back of the hood, we have like 2 different technologies working on different stream of the different speed of the content flow.
All right. So in order to demonstrate it much better, the idea, let me try to zoom in. If that works. All right, so if you see, so the traffic starts in itself from the browser, and it gets passed on to any of our legacy CDNs. After that, what we try to do is, we try to break down all the paths content into different buckets. By just thinking around it, like these are the pages, which are something which can be managed or curated directly for the marketers. There are some of the product pages which are more being curated by technical authors, which needs more stability, complex integrations at the same time, like need more complex authoring at the same time, which is not meant for the marketers. Because if we think around the marketers' psychology, they're like, okay, we need to have a campaign live where we are showing one kind of a promotion that needs to go live. And they wanted to maybe just try to put some carousels over there and have more of the static content they want to author and get it live as soon as possible. And if even they want new blocks to be created, they just want to get it created quickly, and edge delivery takes the edge on this. The reason is because over there, you can just quickly create the blocks using the JavaScript, CSS, and you don't need to have to go through the whole integrations, whole pipeline timings, and all of those chaos. So that's the reason we try to break it down. If you see, for the first one, it's URL path matches, having campaigns, microsites, landing pages, blogs, FAQ detail, and fragment JSON indexes. I'll come to this one. And those paths are routing directly to Edge Delivery Services origin. While when it comes to all the product pages, because those are more of the detail pages, are directly routing towards the AEM as a cloud service sites origin. Then we have a DEM. I think the most powerful thing around this one is this DEM piece altogether, because we have the shared content that can be created directly by our creative teams, can live inside the DEM, and can be shared both ways. And then we have URL path matches for fragments. Because now, reusability is one of the concerns that we always try to solve. We don't want the headers and footers to get created in both of those sites altogether. So that's the reason we have different routes that we have opened up for the shared experience fragments, content fragments, or all of this. And then we try to combine everything with cache and purging by keeping the short TTLs for the Edge Delivery Services, moderate TTL for AEM, and long TTL for the DEM. And that gives us a unified brand and user experience delivered, the whole page. All right, so this is one of the CDN routing. Sorry for that, I think our demo break before this one. So that's, I just try to put up some of the rules so that it's much explainable. But yeah, it's simple. So now in the CDN routing, we can clearly see we try to change the backends, origins, and we also add the X origin headers based upon different routings. So for the campaigns, microsite, landing, blog, FAQ digital, we kept it on the Edge Delivery. It's kind of a similar thing. And we have, for the products, the backend AEM sites. For DEM content, it's AEM DEM, and for the fragments, it's shared fragments. And if it's none of them matches, it directly goes to the AEM sites origin. So yeah, I think routing is nice, and I think that's clear goal that we wanted to achieve. But there are some of the interface contracts that we have created, and we learned it in hard way while doing it. So one of them is the HTML contracts, which is the fragments, which we want to expose directly by making changes inside the AEM. And we want even the Edge Delivery Services to consume that. So in order to do that, what we try to do is, we try to create some of the endpoints. We expose it, again, by making some proxies inside the CDN, and try to expose all the HTML fragment as part of the contracts, so that even Edge Delivery Services can consume it, and those are ready to embed HTMLs. The consumers. So the consumers for the same is Edge Delivery Services, and that can inject all of those embedded HTML by using fetch clients and make the inject happen. And AEM, of course, it can directly include it on the page. So there are some of the must-haves we try to include, which are stable IDs. There can be some shared design tokens, because we exposed our common design tokens as another route altogether, so that both can consume the same way. Have public cache, fast-purge support, and versioned URLs, because eventually when we come back and start creating multiple variations of the experience fragments, for example, for the navigation itself, we try to update it. So the general rule we stick to is that always go and update the experience fragment with a new version altogether, so that we have versions that are living over there. And that's the reason, if you see on the right-hand side, we have fragments, HTML navigation, v2.html. So in the similar way, we have some of the JSON contracts, because, again, let's just say, if we are having some of the blogs that are blog pages which are created directly in the Edge Delivery Services, or even some campaign detail pages or news detail pages which created directly inside Edge Delivery Services, and we want to create teaser components on top of it, right? So we don't want our authors to come over there in the AEM sites and author them individually by putting that these are all the articles in the grid. So in order to render those kind of components inside the AEM, we try to create the indexes to be exposable, using the get calls, simple JSON data, the REST calls. And that's how the AEM can be able to even consume all the index data in the HDB services which is produced directly inside the components by making the fetch calls. And similarly, even in this case, HDB services can be the consumer of all the GraphQL endpoints which are being exposed by AEM. So now the contracts URL ownerships lies with fragments HTML, fragments JSON. If you see on the right-hand side, this is kind of a JSON endpoints we have. And yeah, the caching policies, security, and observability, we have it. So if we need to evolve, what we also wanted to do is to have strict cohorts and CSP. And adding the correlation IDs everywhere just help us to debug better. Because now we are trying to route the traffic in multiple systems, and we don't know where the issue is actually living. So in order to debug that, if we are having the correlation IDs really helps across the origins. So it feels unified, predictable, and safe.
So now let's talk about the team operating model. Let's talk about people. So architectures are easy, but people are hard. People are difficult. So, so the change that it brings is that everyone is aligned to what they need to do. So now after this, like the campaign, the SEO lander, and the pages like FAQ are managed by the marketing team, and which goes to the edge lane for sure. And the evergreen and the regulated content, it is then managed by AEM team itself, the engineering team. So, and other than that, like we can also think of the roads as like these as roads. Like edge delivery is like a expressway. It's fast, it's new, it makes the job done easier and faster. And also AEM, we can think about it as a conventional highway, a government highway that we have. It's reliable, it's not that fast, but it makes our job done. And yes, sometimes content starts fast in Edge and then graduates in AEM later. That's also a case. Like we started with some kind of content which is like very urgent. We have to go as fast as possible. Though that's content which will mature with time and will set back into the AEM stream. We can also do that. We can start with Edge, then after some time we can go to AEM with it. Other than that, I think, and yeah, the both lanes follow both of them follow the different lanes, and teams make their job done.
So yeah, I think this one just gives us a brief idea about having a decision heuristics in order to understand when to choose which. So we tend to choose the SDV services whenever the entry points are pages where we need speed and experiment velocity altogether. Because when it comes to more content that we want to get published for having the go-to markets, we don't want to rely on creating the components inside the AEM. But when it comes to the governance, having long-running workflows, when we have deeper integrations and localization trees and have the complex authoring, yeah, it makes sense to go directly to AEM. So now, devs, this part is for you. So this is just a small bit of an example in order to explain how basically we can have one of the blocks created inside the edge, which is consuming a GraphQL response. So on the right-hand side, we have the GraphQL response, which is featured.json, which is getting exposed. And then using the simple fetch call, we are able to consume it inside the JavaScript in order to decorate the block by using the decorate methods.
So now let's discuss about the pattern that we have seen. So, so finance and healthcare can be considered different industries, but the same model can be applied to both of them in a similar fashion. Like if I talk about finance, AEM can be used for like compliance pages, and Edge can be used for like campaigns. Like there are always financial campaigns, right? That we have. You sell a new credit card, you sell a new term insurance, maybe something like that. So by this, we have seen that the result can be like 67% more faster, and like healthcare also have the same kind of use cases where we can use AEM for regulation, like all kind of like serious stuffs that are, I would say, approved by doctors and all the compliances and regulations. And Edge can be used for patient alerts. Any urgent alert that we need for the patients can be like used with Edge. So like it's different industries, but the like the concept is same. Everyone wants governance, agility, and finally the business wins.
All right, so there are some common pitfalls and how can we avoid it? So, of course, we hit bumps, we broke APIs, we had stale caches. Debugging across origins was messy, but here's the difference. We designed guardrails. Semantic versions solved API breaks. Surrogate key purges solved stale content. Correlation IDs solved debugging. The truth is, you can't avoid problems, but you can stop them from derailing the systems. So if you see, we try to just create a simple allies for our headers. If it's v1, v2, we can keep on updating them, but the alias, which is latest.html, keeps on exposing the same content altogether, which is most latest one. And in order to do the cross-origin debugging, it's the correlation IDs plus unified logging just helps it. And for the cache invalidation complexity, yes, surrogate keys can be the lifesaver over there. So yeah, after 12 months, here's what's changed. The crisis response time, 47 hours down to 5 minutes, because now campaigns are being hosted directly in the Azure AV services and going live via this. Conflicts between dev and marketing team down by 94%. A/B test velocity improved 23 times. Those aren't vanity metrics. Those are numbers that made developers sleep better and made businesses trust IT again.
So let's pause here, because this is where all the architecture, routing rules, and contract finally comes into something that really means something, which is the outcome. First, campaigns. Before, marketing was trapped in endless cycles: draft waiting for approvals, build waiting for pipelines, IT waiting for change windows. Now, a campaign idea in the morning can be delivered by the afternoon. Imagine the difference that it makes during a product launch, or when the competitors spills up and like you want to respond immediately. You can take the example of McDonald's and Burger King, right? So, so second can be like evergreen content, product pages, legal text, knowledge base articles, all the stuff that needs stability and governance that hasn't been compromised. Those pages are still reviewed, translated, and rolled out with same discipline. In fact, governance improved because the urgent content stopped cutting in the line. Like now we have different lanes, so we can manage it accordingly. And teams finally respect the lanes now. Third, I would say about the brand consistency, because in both of the lanes, the dam is the same, right? And both are pull the same things from the dam, the same fragments, and even and every single asset on the brand is pulled from the same way. So no one, no rogue microsites with outdated logos or broken designs. No more two different versions of the same product description floating around, and the website feels unified again. And finally, the human outcome. That's my favorite one. Like marketing and IT stopped fighting now. Like seriously, I would say. The marketing team doesn't feel blocked anymore, and the dev team doesn't feel abused anymore. Like, like no overnight work, guys. Now, instead of late night hot fixes and developers can really focus on real innovation now, and instead of like begging for shortcuts, marketing team feels empowered. That shift in culture from tension to collaboration is bigger than any other metric, I think. And so if you boil it down, outcomes are that speed where it matters, campaigns in hours, not weeks, governance where it's critical, sorry, evergreen content that's safe and consistent, unified brand. Every page looks like one company, like with our DAM, and happier teams. Like, to be honest, that's the secret to sustainable success.
All right, just a quick poll. How many of you have seen shadow sites getting created because they want to have a quick GTM? Yeah, that's a nice number altogether. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. That's our time.
Thank you, Divanshu and Arko.
I think we were a little nervous. This is our first time speaking.
First time speaking on the stage.
But yeah, it went well.
It's quite a big stage. Yeah, the participants are super curious because you had to build the same components for the AEM sites and also the same one as blocks for edge delivery services, and wasn't it a lot like duplicate effort?
I think yes, because so far we are trying to solve around not having the duplicate content, but yeah, for having the same kind of content at both the places in terms of the components, we are going to have to create the components altogether in both of the places. But yes, we can have the style systems, which we can have the design tokens as part of the design tokens, which can be exposed and can be consumed in both the layers.
And it's also not about like all the components, the only components that are necessary for the campaigns and kind of stuff you want to do. You have to plan that and you have to make it accordingly.
Okay. I'm happy that you solved the issues between the departments because architecture solves department issues. But nevertheless, it's quite a sophisticated architecture you've built. Did you try like the solution more about changing the release process to be more agile instead of setting up like this hybrid architecture?
I think, yeah, agile makes sense, but when it comes to the marketing teams, so we try to just break it in a micro architecture way. So we try to think the CMS as micro CMS architectures, so that different teams have their own exposure to the CMS and they can own it entirely. And it's not like one dev team altogether. We can have one dev team who is working for the AEM components, at the same time have a separate pipeline altogether going for the marketing teams. And both are collaborating to take the unified brand altogether.
Yeah, changing the release process altogether is a task. Everyone knows that.
All right, Divanshu, Arko, it was great to have you on stage.
Thank you.
Thank you.